Hi, everybody. I'm Stephen Mosher. I'm a little crooked, so I'm going to fix my camera. Listen, the last two times that I have done this, I got messenger messages saying, "We see you pouring your tea. What kind of teapot are you using?" So this is my teapot today.
Oh,
I have 31. So that's my teapot for today. This is my guest for today. This is Karen Mason. You guys all recognize Karen Mason? Hey, Miss Woman, how are we doing today?
good. How are you?
I
You
haven't
look
seen
great. I
you.
haven't seen you in so long.
I haven't seen anyone. Well, that's not really true because I go to work. Like I leave
Yeah,
the house every day and go to work, so I see people, but they're not my family. Um,
right.
for full transparency for those watching, is that I've known this woman for a couple of years, a couple of years. So
Decades upon decades.
forgive all the inside jokes that will happen during the next half hour to 40-ish minutes. How was the funeral parlor?
Oh my God, Stephen, I had such a great time
Your first show back in a year and a half was
in a
at a
year and a
funeral parlor. I want to know about how that happened.
Oh, well, Christoph Vitek, who is a brilliant violinist, and he has played on all my CDs. And he called Paul and he said, I've been doing these little shows at Frank E. Campbell Funeral Home. He had done some funerals for them, some wakes. They just wanted like a violin or they wanted instrumental. And he said, and about 3 or 4 years ago, they decided they wanted to use their chapel for community outreach. And
Okay.
so they started doing instrumental concerts. And this year they had the big idea to expand and they wanted to do Broadway. They're having comedians. I mean, it is wild. And so Christoph said, do you think Karen would do it? And, Paul asked me, and first my reaction was, I'm not sure. And then I thought, I have to do it because this is going to be the best story ever. And so I said yes, and we went over to see the place and meet everybody. And I have to say, this is like a wild group of people. They are so much fun.
Yeah.
And the concert, they did all of the COVID distancing. Everybody was masked except for me and Chris, and like scattered throughout, but it was pretty well packed and free. I mean, that's what they paid us, but it's free to
Because
the
it's community
community.
outreach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it was just amazing. People hadn't seen a performer in a year. And so there was a great deal of energy in that room yesterday, and pretty much up until this conversation, I have been kind of just asleep. I've been so tired. It was like running a marathon, and I had a great time. The energy in that room was spectacular. And I mean, well, the good thing about it is, and I did ask them, how much of a sense of humor about this can I have? Because it is a funeral home. And so they said, no, please, have a ball. So we did a couple of really funny things. And they have a great sense of humor about it. And we're just lovely. They had a buffet for everybody who showed up. And I couldn't have been more welcoming and warm and just it in a weird, crazy way. It was a very alive room. And this is the Frankie Campbell's. We did as the second to last number, Over the Rainbow. And that's where Harold Darlin and Judy Garland, had their funerals. So it was,
And it's where your career has come back to life.
it is.
You
Okay,
know,
so
some
the joke I told was, this place is I knew I had to play it. This place is so popular. People are dying to get in here. You know how many times I've been told that over the past few weeks? Yeah. So it was great. It was great fun.
yeah.
So if anybody's ever asked to do it, just say yes immediately.
For years I had only heard people talk about Frankie Campbell, you know. I'd never seen it in print, so I thought it was Frankie Campbell.
Frankie Campbell's
Yeah.
place.
So this last year, the pandemic, this last decade,
Yeah.
Marilyn May played a driveway and you sang in a funeral home. So clearly singers will go anywhere to
I will
sing.
do anything. Yeah, that's right. You know what? We just have to. We have to sing. And because of COVID, you weren't able to do the things you normally did. So why not jump in the deep end and, explore all of these other crazy alternatives?
And they paid you to sing.
And they paid me. That is key. That was really yeah. I mean, look, and it was really lovely. It was really lovely. Yeah, when you say cash to me, that's
But
always good.
there's how often are actors and singers and artists asked to work for exposure, to work for free?
Oh,
You
I
got
know.
paid to do your
Right.
shit,
I
you
got
know?
paid as a professional.
So
Yeah.
walk me through all of this. You haven't sung in a year and a half. You're getting ready to sing
Oh,
at Frankie Campbell's, you know. What's
yeah.
going on inside all of this?
Oh man, I'd say for about 3 weeks before I started panicking. Can I do it? Will I last? Can I sing it?
Mm.
Singing an hour show, an hour and five. It's a lot of singing, a lot of talking, and I get very excited, and so I'm not one for keeping the lid on things. I'm not really good at that. And so I just, jump in with all my energy. And I had to, Chris Denny and Barry Kleinbort and I put together I think, a really wonderful show. And very high energy, but also a lot of wonderful ballads and dramatic things and stories and new things that I hadn't ever done in front of living people. And but it was frightening. Will I feel comfortable enough? After the 150 years that I've been doing this, I do feel comfortable when things go wrong, when things, I go through first lyric panic. So I wonder whether I'm going to make it through the first song. Right before I go on stage, I'm going through the lyrics of the first song, and guaranteed I will go, I don't remember what that is. And then I get on stage and I'm, if the audience is with me and there's a connection, if they're willing to connect, we're going to have a great time. And it just it all kind of came back, and it was lovely. Yeah, it's going to take a while to build up that, um, those chops again, because it just will. It's running a marathon.
Well, you're in training now because this
Yeah.
was actually your dress rehearsal for like a few shows that you got coming up, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're actually taking this show to the Bucks County Playhouse. They opened their theater and have been doing some concerts. I guess over the past few months, they've been doing comedians, and comedians are, they're easy because you don't have to have a piano, you don't have to have all these other things. And so right now they're having a series of musical concerts, and Darius DeHaas, I did it, and Natalie Douglas. It'll be me and Billy Stritch, Sally Mays. I know I'm missing a few other
Wait,
people.
I just read it. Melissa Errico is going to be there.
Yes, yeah.
Um, nope, that's it.
Is
Gone.
that it? Boom. Oh
No,
yeah. Okay.
there are others, but they're not with me right now.
Yeah. Well, they're farther down the year,
Yeah, but you're
so
Thursday night. You're like,
I'm Thursday and Friday. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're looking forward to doing that. I mean, a theater that's opening up. The last time I was at the Bucks County Playhouse, I was singing at a wedding. So, singing for a wedding, I was singing. They had people get up for their reception, and for the wedding, get up and sing in the theater. So, because they were on the board of the theater, and it was really cool. So,
So
I'm looking forward to singing
you
again.
were booked to sing at the wedding. That wasn't one of those things where I was like, Karen, get up and sing a song.
No, no, no. No, I was actually booked to sing
Nothing-
at their wedding. Yeah.
There's nothing like being put on the spot as a performer and saying, but I don't want to sing tonight.
Yeah. I'm not, some people are really good about that. Yeah, I'm going to just, stand up and I'll jump in. I always feel kind of, because if you're not in top shape, and most people going to a party haven't vocalized right before, and gotten themselves ready for a song. So I just kind of feel like, ooh, wow, I'm not, it's harder for me to do that. I'm not not totally gracious about it.
You don't have to be. How long does it take you to get ready for a show when it comes to the vocalizing and getting all of this warmed up and ready to go?
Vocalizing, I would say, takes about, 15 minutes to make sure. Then there's the tech rehearsal. Chris and I will run a couple of songs once we get to the space to make sure, it's Paul is great about that because he'll come, and my husband, Paul Rolnick, will come and we'll do an up tempo, then we'll do a ballad, and we'll, keep checking it to make sure that our monitors are good and the house monitors are, the balance is good. So that takes probably longer than, usually when you're doing a show, if you're going into a theater or even a club, you will pretty much run tops and tails of every song. And
Yeah.
if you have a good good lighting person, that's all you really have to do, and say, I'm going to stand here and this is the look I'm going for, and it'll be a segue into another song, or there's a blackout after this one. But a lot of times you don't have the luxury of having somebody really great, and so you end up running almost the whole show before you run the whole show, and that gets to be a little.
Marathon. Very
Yeah, it
marathon.
does. Yeah. By the end of that show, it's wee.
So you're at a wedding, you've had 3 glasses of champagne, a little sorbet, and they say sing, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I have to go to the bathroom.
So now, speaking incredibly currently, have you watched yourself in Halston yet?
Well, of course I have, Stephen Mosher.
No, 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 no. I know actors that are like, I won't look at myself on screen. I don't want to see that shit. Did,
Yeah.
did you like
Well,
watch it the minute it dropped?
yes, because I was curious.
Yeah.
Because I was really curious. Listen, I can see why people don't like looking at themselves. It's very hard. All I did was see all of the imperfections and the things that are perceived imperfections. And, so I can see why you don't get into that, because it's very hard then to just enjoy what that is. You're just kind of beating yourself up over it. But listen, I thought I got a lot of nice screen time, and I was really pleased with it. And I have to say, doing the project, I had such a ball. Ewan McGregor was, I was like a 16-year-old, like, I was so enamored with him. He's so charming and so adorable.
He's got those twinkly eyes and that
Oh, yeah,
laugh.
he's a bad boy. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And who doesn't like that?
I don't know anyone who doesn't like that.
Yeah,
Um,
so it was really fun, and I was really happy to see people, people have been so supportive about it, and that's really great. Paul watched it with me, and he was so sweet. Every time they would, before the scene I was in, they'd mention the word money, the money person. He'd kind of nudge me a little bit. It's like, it's coming, it's coming.
it's good to have a supportive spouse.
Very good. Very good.
Now, this is not your first time doing TV.
It's not, but I haven't done an awful lot of it, and this hopefully will lead to more. I
Well,
mean, that's
a few years ago, you and I talked about this. You said your goal was to be a judge on one of the Law and Order shows. Did that
yeah. I've
ever
never
happen?
been a judge. No, I've been
So,
a psychiatrist and a teacher and a librarian.
so here you've got this fabulous, dignified new silver hair.
I know. Well, thank you.
It's very judicial.
I think
You know,
so.
you could end up on Law and Order or The Good Wife or Blue Bloods. You totally have the judge thing going here.
Oh, good. Yeah. I like my hair. Now I'm kind of thinking, what took me so long? Because it's been this way for a while, but it was COVID and not being able to get it colored. And I was not about to attempt that on my own.
Oh, come on, it would have been such a great, like, Instagram DIY thing, you know? Tune in today while Karen Mason goes.
Burns off her entire hair.
Um, Now let's see. I wanted to. Um, we were talking and I lost my train of thought. On the subject of television and women with silver hair. These days, there's a lot of these last few years. There's been a lot of many calls for change in the industry.
Hmm.
We're battling racism and ageism and misogyny, and you have the benefit of having been in New York for many years, working theater and clubs and film and television. Do you think that the kind of change that people are calling for is possible, or do you think that it'll just sort of like fade away when all the protests do?
No, I think the loud voices are necessary for change. I think they're absolutely necessary. You don't get change without people being in your face and being loud. And we do need to change. We need to be more diversive, be more expanding, be more inclusive. Um, I'm hoping that I think change is something that happens incrementally. I don't think it's going to be, we're going to wake up the next morning and suddenly everything is going to be just fine.
Yeah,
But I do believe that there will be, it'll swing. I think we're in that swing right now where there's a lot of clamor for change. I think we'll get a little bit of a change, and then I think, we'll deal with that and that will seem okay. Hopefully we won't veer too far back, and then we'll go forward again. I think it's we have to have change. The world, we've seen too much of each other this past year.
mm,
We've seen too much of the bad, and especially now with cell phones and being able to videotape everything, we're all becoming finally aware of that racism hasn't gone anywhere, that ageism hasn't gone anywhere. It's just been undercover for a while, and now we all see it.
yeah,
And you cannot be quiet about it now. There is just no way that all of us are able to say, no, it's fine. It's going to be okay. No, it's not. You have to have those loud voices to inspire and to push for change, because the rest of us jamokes are not going to do it. I mean, I would like to think of myself as I'm ready to fight, but I don't think that that's necessarily something I instinctively do,
yeah,
right off the bat. I'm not an instigator. There are people who are instigators of change. I will be there for that, but I'm not an instigator. And I think those are the people that we need to let lead us to that next step. And hopefully people are paying attention to those instigators
you
now.
have to pair the instigators with the soldiers, the fighters.
Right.
The,
Right.
like the Natalie Douglases with the Karen Masons. Natalie is always up front, being vocal, and then there are the rest of us who are like, put me to work. Where can we go?
Right. Right. And I mean, certainly our life experiences are so different between Natalie and myself. I mean, I'm a white girl. My experiences are very different. I have not had certainly any of the experiences of prejudice that Natalie, you know, may have had, or has had. But I'm willing to be there for her, and not let it happen again. And I know that sounds probably feeble. It doesn't sound like it's going to accomplish much, but it's kind of the best I can do. I can't change the life experiences I've had. I
Yeah.
can just change myself going forward.
but everybody has their own experience. Natalie has the Black experience. I have the gay experience. I'm sure that you have dealt with misogyny, you know,
Yeah.
and they're all things that need to change. And in that, we can all stand together and say, let's make this a better world. Let's make this a better industry,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
let's all stand together.
Yeah. I mean, I know there are always conversations about, um, the loudest voices of the demands, with actors equity, or the demands with, and demands are just a way of expressing what the ideal will be. It doesn't mean necessarily that all of that will happen, but you have to keep asking for all of it. And then it's like any negotiation. You ask for all of it, and then hopefully, decide what you would really like to walk away from the negotiation with. And hopefully that will happen.
All
I
right.
really hope so. I think we need a better world.
Yeah, especially after what we've all just been through. I mean, I think a lot
Right.
of us are really in the mindset to be kind right now. So now I want to get off of the serious stuff and talk about Masons making music. Uh, you had this hit internet show this last decade. How did you like it? How did you enjoy just standing in your living room and singing for your camera and reaching people anywhere and everywhere?
Well, that was pretty overwhelming at first. I mean, the first time I did it, which at last Saturday was the anniversary, May 15th was the first show I did. Yeah, which my friend Marianne Lapinto pointed out to me.
Yeah,
And yeah, she who knows everything.
word.
And she told me that. And the first time I did it, I was shocked at the 3,000 hits that I got. I mean, we all panic and sweat over seating 60 to 100 people in a cabaret. And here it's 3,000 people. I kept looking at the number to make sure I wasn't reading it incorrectly. And
It was great.
yeah. And I mean, over the period of time, certainly you don't get that initial hit because there were so many more people who were doing it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? As in May of last year, there were just a few of us who were kind of venturing forth. And then all of a sudden, everybody started doing it, which was really great because it was a good connection, with each other. It's funny, Stephen. Uh, I looked forward to being able to connect and say, "Hey, how you doing?" or "Good to see you again. Oh, hey, I did this song for you." I mean, it was a real, sitting at home and watching endless amounts of Netflix and Hulu, and thank God for it. I mean, seriously, thank God for it. But to be able to actually have a, a semblance of a connection with an audience member was really cool. It was really great. I grew to like singing to a little hole in my computer, and I don't dislike singing to tracks, but it's certainly not my favorite. In fact, when Chris and Barry and I got together for the first time to rehearse in a room together after a very long period of time, uh, almost a year and a half, it just, I thought, yeah, this is what it feels like. It's a visceral thing. The piano, you feel it in your body, in your bones, and it's an inspiration. Whereas with a track, even though you're getting different instruments and more of an orchestral feeling, you don't get that immediate sensation as you do singing live with instruments, with any amount of instruments, just a piano. So i I am grateful for the gift that I had those tracks, that Paul pushed me for 7 CDs. We're actually working on another one right now. So I had all those tracks that I could use. And then Chris and I started doing about September. I was getting like really bored. And so with the tracks that I had, there's just so many combinations you can do, you know. And so he had discovered this thing called Jam Kazam.
Uh-huh.
And we started rehearsing and collaborating, and I ended up with some more tracks. And yeah, so we started adding songs, you know, every couple of weeks to kind of shake it up a little bit and keep me interested.
Does Paul play the piano at home and you sing? Do you guys?
No,
That's not.
no, he's a guitar player. That was really his instrument. But you know, he does it now begrudgingly or when he's trying to. No, it's not begrudgingly. It's that, you know, it's not he doesn't totally keep up his skills. And so even though we have hundreds of guitars in the house, um we have, I think he's got like 10 guitars here,
Uh-huh.
8 to 10 guitars. You know, he doesn't play them all of the time. Every once in a while he'll you know, pick up a guitar and play a Beatles song and wander around the house and play it and, you know,
Those
sing
guitars
it
are
for
very
me.
fun to dust.
Huh?
The guitars are very fun to dust. Um, I want to ask you something. I once heard Shirley MacLaine say that she couldn't sing Gershwin. She was doing a TV special, and she said, I can't sing Gershwin, so I'm going to sing Harold Arlen. And I've always remembered that. And I was listening to some of your records recently. I still say records. Can you believe that?
Yeah, and they are records.
I've clocked that you've sung everything from the Beatles to Petula Clark to show tunes to standards. Do you find that you can sing anything, or is there anything that you found just doesn't resonate with you that?
It's usually not that it doesn't resonate with me, because there are a lot of things I love listening to that I don't think I would be very proficient in singing,
You know,
that I just don't have those skills. I can't riff. I have a riff.
mm,
I have just one.
okay,
Yeah. And
and you
yeah.
know just where you're going to put it each show.
And you know, so I that's not something I do. So pop music, I kind of have to make it Karen Mason pop,
You know,
and make it as uh you know, white elder person as I can. Uh eh, I don't, you know, I would never venture singing something that like gospel, or you know, I would not do that because that's not my skill set. You
yeah,
know, I'm definitely um a theater, or even though I sing a wide variety of styles of songs, usually I they're arranged so they fit my skill set.
right. Your show that you're doing at Bucks County, it's all show music, isn't it? It's a Broadway,
Uh-uh.
it's a Broadway show.
No, no, we kind of, you know, even though they said this is the wonder of just, you know, going, nah, we don't really want to do that. Because the Frankie Campbell said they had already advertised it as, you know, a tribute to Broadway. And but Barry Kleinbort came up with this brilliant title, because what I really wanted to open with, I
Yeah,
know, what I really wanted to open with at Frank Campbell was a song that Julie Wilson used to do. Actually, she did it in one of her movies. Oh, she's so magnificently beautiful. God, that woman was just gorgeous and never moved. My feet are constantly going, my legs are going, my hands are going. She didn't move at all. And the song is I'm gonna live till I die. That's what I wanted to open with at the funeral home. And so we did, but Barry came up with a great title called Vaccinate in Rhythm. I know, it's pretty good. And so so we just, it's a little bit of everything. I mean, I didn't want to just do Broadway because like, you know, you kind of just pointed out, I feel like I have a little bit more than just Broadway.
yeah.
And so we're doing a kind of a wide variety of things. some songs that were in a show that I did at Birdland called For the First Time.
Uh-huh.
So we're doing, it's an arrangement that Chris and Barry did of Lulu's Back in Town, and we're making it into Karen's Back in Town. And, just New York is, my personal property. And what is the song that we're doing? Uh, I will wait for you.
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
it takes forever, I will wait for you. That one. And then a brand new one that was one that we did during Mason's Making Music. And it's You've Got a Friend. And then we move into, the Broadway section and do a song that has only been heard in New York a couple of times. And it was from my first musical called Play Me a Country Song. And it's really a beautiful song. It's really a sweet, beautiful song.
And you always do at least one Brian Lasser song, right?
I am not doing a Brian Lasser song now. I'm sorry. Oh man, I always disappoint.
Speaking of which, you have been lucky enough to be the muse for two different men. Brian and your husband Paul have both written songs for you. That,
Oh,
that must be a wonderful legacy to look back on and know that you inspired such beautiful creations.
well, I don't think of it quite that way. I think of it as that I'm lucky to have people who think I can say something with, that they feel like they can express something through me. And that's, Paul did write one song for me called Right Here, Right Now. And that was really cool. I've never had anybody write a song, romantically for me. With Brian, it was a different kind of romance. Yeah, it was a romance, but it was a different kind of romance. And for him to entrust me with his words and music was a great gift. I feel very grateful for that.
I think all artistic people have that kind of romance with somebody, that creative relationship, and
If you're lucky.
I always call it like the Milton Green, Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn, Givenchy thing. If you're lucky,
Hmm.
you get to find a creative partner that goes with you through life.
Right,
You know,
right. If you're lucky. And and there's that collaboration and that inspiration. And luckily I found two new people to, collaborate with that I adore.
your work relationship with Chris Denny and Barry Kleinbort is just one bloom in the vase after another. I mean, every show that you guys create is so amazing. You've got another one in the fall, don't you? A birthday bash at 54 Below.
Well, yeah, actually that the birthday bash, we're probably gonna do, I'm gonna be at 54 Below in November, I think. The last time I had it in my calendar, it was November, but it's been changed so many times, I'm not quite sure when it
Has it?
is now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but we were supposed to do the birthday show. So we were thinking either doing that show or doing the Candor and Ebb show, which we did out at the Berkshire Theater Festival,
I'm still
which,
waiting for the Candor and Ebb show.
oh my God, it is so wonderful. It is so wonderful.
Yeah.
And, I love working with those two guys. We laugh so hard, and they know me so well and show me off so well.
They've got your back. They really take
Oh
such
God,
good
yeah.
care of you. Yeah.
And I never feel like I'm walking out there um, not fully um, taken care of,
Yeah. You've
which is
got
pretty amazing. With Patter and with the song selections, and there's never a time when I feel, oh, they're really kind of only doing half-assed things right now. They're always just prime. It's
well,
always beautiful.
I believe that is because once again you have become a muse to these men. They are inspired to work harder for you, to
Oh,
create the greatest setting for the jewel that is Karen Mason. I think that you
wow.
inspire that in people.
Well, thank you. I don't want to demean that in any way or diminish it. It's hard for a Catholic girl from the Midwest to hear that, but I liked I know.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm going to stop you because there are people, including this guy right here, that use words like legend and icon when talking about. Does that make you uncomfortable?
Yes and no.
Okay.
There's a part of me that inside is going, yes, yes, yes,
Honesty, an
Yahoo!
honest answer. Yeah.
And then there's the other part of me that has my mother's voice in my ear going, never, don't blow your own horn, which is not particularly convenient logic for anyone in show business, by the
No,
way, at
no.
all. And so, it's always that kind of waffling. I know, are you kidding? Everybody loves to think that everybody who works in a business that is about being respected and loved,
Yeah.
is eager to be respected and loved. So no, it doesn't make me uncomfortable. It's just, it
You just don't
is.
want to hear it right to your face. You want Paul to come in and say, Stephen Mosher called you a legend today, and you can go he where nobody's watching. Is that it? All right, I'm going to let you off the hook. We've been here for about a half an hour, and I don't know about you, but the AC is off, and Grandpa
Oh,
is sweating. I am going
you
to.
need to get a fan, Stephen Mosher. I'm going to send you a fan,
No,
and you put it at your feet, and it just blows kind of right up.
Yeah, but Pat's a voiceover artist, and this microphone picks up every sound. So I
Well,
got
if
it.
you get one of those, does he have a protector thing?
He's got a pop screen. It's this
No,
evening.
no, no. This is it's like a piece of plastic that's like a baffle that
Okay,
goes around like this. And that way you can have that blowing at your feet, and
I
this
need
is
it.
around the baffle.
Yeah, I'll take it because right now I'm so sweaty that I'm baffled. Um, we've been talking to Karen Mason today, the legendary Karen Mason today.
That icon.
The iconic Karen Mason will be at the Bucks County Playhouse starting Thursday and finishing Friday. I'm going to make sure that all that intel is in this article when we drop it on BroadwayWorld.com, and that way people can come and see you be legendary and iconic.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I'm just going to see you as like, my Midwestern Catholic girlfriend, woman friend that doesn't mind if I'm misogynistic.
Well, you're not misogynistic, and the very fact that you pointed out makes you not.
Yes, no, no.
Yeah,
I love
no.
you, and I'm so happy
Love
that I
you
got to
too.
see you for the first time in, I think it's actually 2 years because we hadn't seen each other before the pandemic hit, but we talked on the phone a
Yeah.
few times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, there was a lot of, yeah. So it's been a while. It's been quite a while. Well, I look
So
forward to seeing you in person.
I'm vaccinated,
Me
so
too.
we'll get together for tea when you're back from Bucks County. I have the teapots.
Oh my God. Would you like a few more? I don't have, do you need any more teapots?
Pat will kill me if I get one more teapot. We have to move to another apartment. Yeah.
I have one that's a taxi. That's so cute. I brought it with me from Chicago, but I don't drink tea.
You're missing out, I got to tell you.
Well, let me put it this way. I drink tea that I zap the water in the microwave and then put the tea bag in.
I'm hanging up. Goodbye. Yeah, I can't associate with you anymore. All right. Thank you everybody for stopping by. Karen, thank you for chatting with me about the fun stuff and the serious stuff. And I love you.
I love you too.
I'm going to ask our producer, Becca Parker. I'm going to say thank you, Becca, and let her sign us off. Mwah.